Both men have been candid about their beliefs. They've also been careful not to make their faith a focal point. Reverend Francis Wade is the interim dean at the Washington National Cathedral. Welcome.
Thank you.
Reverend, I understand you sat down, you had exclusives with both men. Are there more similarities than differences, or the other way around?
I really think there are more similarities. We were talking about their faith and where their faith comes from, and while they've been on different paths, they both are very traditional Christians. They have a traditional Christian point of view, and that point of view has impelled them to offer great service. So I think the commonality is far more impressive than the differences between them. It
was interesting. This past Sunday, the president allowed reporters to take pictures of him as his family went to church. Mitt Romney allowed photographers to shoot him and his wife as they went to some Mormon ceremonies. For Mitt Romney, this was really unusual. Did you find he was more comfortable in talking about his faith?
Well, yes, he is. I mean, he is a man of deep faith, and he's very articulate about his faith. And I don't know about how it plays out in campaigns and things like that. But both President Obama and Governor Romney are people who know what they believe. They're convinced of it and convicted about it, and they are comfortable about it. I think it had to do with the venue. The Washington National Cathedral has a role of being a house of prayer for all people and to be a spiritual home for the nation. We're trusted in that, and I think they felt...
Talk a little baseball. Roger Club.
Talking with us, and hopefully we have been good stewards of that faithfulness and that trust.
Is Governor Romney aware that some in this country don't quite understand his religion?
Oh, yes, I'm sure he is. I think that he might. I mean, he must be aware of that. I do not know that specifically in terms of a direct answer to a direct question, but certainly I think he's aware of that. I think that President Obama is also aware that his faith has been widely misunderstood as well. So both of them have a reason to want to be clear about where they're coming from and what they're saying, and both of them, frankly, come out as being very Orthodox Christians.
What's the biggest difference between the two?
Well, I mean, clearly, how they would implement what their faith calls them to do is different, and that has been the gist of the campaign. But Governor Romney, in describing his faith, speaks very eloquently and powerfully of his involvement in his church as institution, and how formative that's been for him and how that's been part of it. President Obama speaks about the mentors that he has had, Joshua Dubois, his mentor and guide, and the people that he turns to, and how those people have been, and others that he regularly turns to, are a source of strength and guidance for him. His faith is articulated as being a little more private, a little more personal, whereas Governor Romney's faith has been carried out and shaped in the public arena of the life of his church. Both of them coming really to the same orthodox conclusions, but that slight difference in the manner in which they express and live their faith.
Interesting. Reverend Wade, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much.
For more